You all know Matt Gaetz. You know it was personal. It had nothing to do about spending. It had nothing to do about everything he accused somebody of he was doing. It all was about getting attention from you.
It's the benefit of this country that we have a better Speaker of the House than Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy couldn't keep his word. He made an agreement in January regarding the way Washington would work, and he violated that agreement.
Goodbye, Kevin McCarthy. Hello, uncertainty.
The yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Kevin McCarthy ousted from the speakership in a rare maneuver after GOP hardliners revolted over his shutdown compromise. His removal fueling concerns about more turmoil. The House set to hold speaker elections next week, and the next government shutdown deadline looms November 17th. Let's get to the team coverage. Bloomberg's Annamarie and Kailey Leinz in Washington, D.C. AMH, who's next?
Well, we're in uncharted territory at the moment, Jonathan, and you know what we heard from French Hill early on your program in Surveillance. He was saying only 4% of the Republican caucus voted for this. So there is, you can see that the majority of the Republicans actually wanted Speaker Kevin McCarthy to remain in that position. He's now no longer their speaker, and there's a bunch of names being floated around, and those are the faces right there on the screen. Steve Scalise, he's apparently been making some phone calls, Jonathan. The issue is he has multiple myeloma. This is blood cancer, and he's being treated for it. Now, yesterday in the halls, he said, listen, I feel great, but also, is he too much of an establishment figure? Remember, he was the deputy to Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Then there's Tom Emmer. He's part of the leadership team. You have Patrick McHenry, who is the pro temp right now. He is the interim speaker. His job, his only job right now, is to make sure the Republican caucus can get a speaker, that they can get 218 votes around. Other names like Elise Stefanik, and then there's Jim Jordan as well. Now, Jonathan, he told Joe and I on Balance of Power Monday evening before this motion to vacate that he does not want to be speaker and he fully supports Kevin. But now maybe he's going to be looking into it because Kevin is no longer in that job.
Kailey, with all of that in mind, is a shutdown now just inevitable?
Well, of course, we're working against a clock here, Jonathan, a deadline of November 17th. The government funding that was agreed to in the continuing resolution of last weekend that led to McCarthy's downfall in the first place only extends to that date. And the issue is right now we have paralysis in the House. As Annamarie was just saying, really the only thing that pro temp Patrick McHenry can preside over is a speaker vote. He can't preside over usual business. And that speaker vote isn't even scheduled to happen until next Wednesday, October 11th. And if you recall, John, the first time around when McCarthy was elected speaker, it took 15 rounds and 4 days to get it done. So we could be looking at a protracted fight here once again, and that will start running the clock, and we won't be working on these appropriation bills. Remember, 12 of them need to be passed in total, and they need to be reconciled with the Senate, and that will be the difficulty for whoever does ultimately get the speaker's gavel, because they're going to have the same issue of trying to reconcile conservative hardliners' priorities for deep spending cuts with something that can pass in a Democratic-controlled Senate, and that job is really tough, as we have just seen play out, John.
What a mess. Kailey Leinz, AMH, to the both of you, thank you. Tremendous coverage, as always, in Washington.